We are more than surveyors. We are more than infrastructure specialists. We are more than planners. So, who are we? We are problem solvers, providing the highest quality service and results. We are a team of skilled professionals focused on customer needs and outcomes. We are 23 years of industry experience, adhering to the highest safety standards. We are Melbourne, and we are right across Victoria. We are the Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions. Lanco Group. We are more than you realise, and we are ready to partner with you.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR. Football Nation Radio. Well, Danny Sturridge was a no-show, but 3 sweet points, a clean sheet, and a stadium announcement to bring in this episode of The Green Room on FNR, proudly presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builders. I'm Josh Parrish. I've got Lachie Flanagan alongside me. And Lachie, we've got a big show coming up and a big win to celebrate.
It is. Well, it's been a bit of a dreary day here in Melbourne, but I'm sure that out at Leakes Road, the clouds have parted, the sun is shining, the rabbits are frolicking, and there's a little rainbow over the top because we do have confirmation of the first soil being turned over at Leakes Road, the start of the Wyndham City Stadium precinct, and we're going to be able to chat about that. Of course, the games you mentioned, and then 2 very big guests, 2 players, 1 current and 1 former. Joining us very, very shortly will be Lachie Wales. We'll have plenty of questions for him after he was involved in picking up Western United's first 3 points of the season. And then, I don't know if we're at the stage of being able to call people club legends, but I feel like this guy is not just an A-League, he's not just a Western United club legend. I think he's just a league legend at this point. But after Lachie Wales, we'll have Andrew Durante as well. Who is currently, he's like the Carmen Sandiego of retired A-League men's players, currently on this sojourn through the outskirts of Australia. So what we need to answer, where in the world is Andrew Durante?
Well, I think it's a well-deserved break after
absolutely.
360-odd A-League appearances, the record appearance
seasons.
holder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's had a long old career. He has been through the wars in that career as well. I mean, a long time ago, he was actually caught by a stray bullet while playing in a match. So he's got a lot of stories to tell. I'm keen to dig into some of them and to his time at Western United as an inaugural player, as a captain, and, of course, his upcoming off-field role with the club and what that will entail.
Yeah. Super exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
Should we start with the game, though?
Yeah, let's talk about the game just briefly. A 1-0 win off the bench. Our green room guest, Dylan Wenzel-Halls from episode 2.
Does it have to be the week after a guest comes on to call it the green room effect?
I feel like the halo effect can extend to 2 weeks. That way, if Ben Garuccio scores next week, we can claim it as well.
So if Ben Garuccio is scoring against his former club this weekend, then we can officially green room effect TM.
Yeah, exactly. Because some people listen to the podcast late.
Yeah, no, true. Good point. Okay. So we're off to a good start then. The halo effect is happening.
And, stout defensive performance. It was a slog against the Perth Glory team who benched most of their star attacking options or even left them out of the squad and set up with a bank of 5 and a bank of 4.
Yeah. They made the going very tough, did Perth Glory, but eventually Western United did find the breakthrough courtesy of Dylan Wenzel-Halls. But I think the most pleasing thing in this game was the defensive performance. Once again, obviously, they, had started with the traditional back four, the one that played last week, and did very well against Melbourne Victory as well. Let's not forget, just conceded from one set piece. But they had to make that tactical change, bringing off Imai at half-time. And then Nikolai Topor-Stanley came in and did a very good job, and Western United held that clean sheet and took the 3 points at the end of the game. So I think that's a defensive record that, given their opponents on the weekend, is a very, very good thing to have. But I was just thinking about it today, and even if you count the preseason results as well, you throw in the Newcastle Jets game. Obviously Daniel Pena scoring from the free kick. Western United haven't conceded from open play yet, which is a good thing when you're coming up against Melbourne City, I would say.
Absolutely. And we need every bit of that defensive rigour when it comes to the weekend's game against the reigning champions. But you mentioned the tactical change. Apparently, Tomoki Imai is completely fine. It was just John Aloisi wanted a left footer.
I was worried. I went out the minute I saw it. I grabbed Nick Hughes. I'm like, is Tomoki Imai, is he okay? I need to know if the Mocky Monster is okay. Mocky Monster is all good. Don't stress.
Okay.
I'm not sure I am allowed to be on nickname basis with him, but I'm going to continue to push it regardless.
I think it might be only Ryan Scott that calls him that, by the way.
More people should call him that.
Nickname?
I'm gonna back in Ryan Scott and say more people should call him that if they don't already. But I grabbed Nick Hughes. He's all good. No injury for Tomoki Imai. It was just a tactical thing, so he is good to go. And already that competition for places in the centre back spot is heating up because NTS did a good job as well.
Yeah, speaking of A-League legends, and played nice passes out from the back with that left foot on the left-hand side, and the goal ends up coming up the left flank. So has to be said, inspired change by John Aloisi. We'll go to a short break because we've got Lachie Wales waiting for us on the other side, and I don't want to build him up too much, but we've got a lot to expect from Lachie Wales as green room talent because we're told he's a bit of a larrikin when it comes to the training sessions.
Plenty of questions for Lachie.
Absolutely. Let's get into that here on The Green Room on FNR, proudly presented by Simonds Homes.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
We are more than engineers. We are more than project managers. We are more than surveyors. We are more than infrastructure specialists. We are more than planners. So, who are we? We are problem solvers, providing the highest quality service and results. We are a team of skilled professionals, focused on customer needs and outcomes. We are 23 years of industry experience, adhering to the highest safety standards. We are Melbourne, and we are right across Victoria. We are the Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions. Lanco Group. We are more than you realise, and we are ready to partner with you.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR. Football Nation Radio. Welcome back to the Green Room here on FNR. Josh and Lachie with you. We've got another Lachie joining us here via the Zoom call. Lachie Wales, welcome to the Green Room.
Thanks for having me. You look like you got a good setup there, so it's quality.
You're rocking the AirPods too, so not so bad yourself. Actually, speaking of gear, my co-host here was actually admiring your T-shirt before we came on air.
Yeah, it's a bit of a local brand. I think it's out in Mornington, so Snake Hole, little shout out. Nice little tee. So if you want to grab one, get online.
Very underground, very cool. So,
Representing the southeast as well.
yeah,
so.
look, I've got no problems with that. I'm sure the club would prefer you find a reputable fashion brand from the west. But you know what? I think the Snake Hole is good value, so we'll allow it this one time.
Former southeast resident here. And speaking of little seaside towns, that's where you hail from, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Terrigal, probably 15 minutes from Gosford. So the beach actually next to it, Wombrel. So grew up, went to Terrigal High and spent most of my childhood down there at the beach and, had a really good upbringing and just enjoyed a lot of sports. But, obviously fell in love with football as well.
Yeah, I bet. Were you a surfer as a kid? Did you get into that as well?
Yeah, it was always down at the beach. While my family was building our family home, we lived on the beach for probably a year and a half and, spent every day surfing and, doing nippers and these kind of sports and always enjoying it with my brother and sister. So, it was an awesome upbringing and, it was kind of good to enjoy a lot of different sports because, by the time I was a little bit older, I wasn't over football or, my dad didn't pressure me into playing football or anything like that. So it was an awesome upbringing and, it's something that I'm really grateful for.
I mean, I know as you can see, Lachie, from the window, the weather in Melbourne is not quite, not always super conducive to surfing. But I know you do. Western United play quite a few games out in Geelong. Do you ever get a chance to get down there, have a bit of a surf? Is there anyone in the team who joins you as well?
It was funny. A few weeks ago, we had a couple of days off, so I took my partner down to the Great Ocean Road, and we went down to Lorne and stayed there for a few nights. And it's a beautiful spot to get out there and check that out. So we're really happy with that. Funny, the water's a lot colder down here, so I probably need to invest in a better wetsuit at the moment. And with the boys, probably Joshy Risdon wants to get into it. He's done it a little bit, so. With the training ground at Essendon now, we're looking at urban surf memberships. So I think he's really keen to get stuck into it.
Well, he's got the tattoos already.
Exactly
so
what I was going to say. He does. If you had to pick someone who looked like they could be a surfer, he would be a good shout.
He would definitely be a good shout. He's got that look about him. He's right into it. He's a Perth boy, so there's some pretty good waves down there as well. So. It's a bit of a deal. If I teach him, I can stay at his house in Perth and check out Margaret River and places like that.
Well, let's get into the football. Lachie, you've been right up in the first team action this season, starting each and every game on the flank. How have you found the new head coach and how have you found your place in the team?
Yeah, it's honestly been a breath of fresh air for John to come in with Foxy as well. It's been absolutely awesome for us boys just to, start fresh with a new training ground, a new philosophy. And I think we can already see that, our defensive structures is probably really standing out at the moment, something we've worked on all pre-season. And obviously the attack quite hasn't clicked yet, but, early in the season, if you're hard to beat, you can always work on the attack and the goals will hopefully come. So it's been absolutely awesome. And I know... personally, I'm really enjoying learning off someone like John. He's played at the highest level and, plays in a similar position to what I played in. So to absorb as much information as I can off him and to enjoy your football, that's probably when you play your best.
Yeah, I mean, I think that defence, I think everyone in the league so far, fans, players alike, the defence is something that's really caught everyone's attention. And in both games as well, obviously the first result didn't quite go. Maybe felt a little bit unlucky that despite the good performance, you didn't get the result, but you did get 3 points for the first time this season against Perth on Friday night. Must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. We probably played better against Melbourne Victory than we did against Perth. So that's football sometimes. And as you said, the defence has been, on fire. And if you're very hard to beat, it's shown with teams like Sydney FC over the last 5 years. They win a lot of games 1-0, 2-1. If you're very hard to beat, you'll pick up a lot of points in this league. So definitely for us attackers, there's a lot of work. We've got a few new players in there with the big striker and Wenzel Halls. So there's a lot of combinations and things like that coming in. So hopefully that can grow over the next few games and, we can start really putting teams to the sword.
Yeah, well, those are the two players, exactly the two players I was just about to ask you about. Obviously, you're a familiar face in the Western United ranks, but you're working with, two new attacking compatriots, Dill and Alex Prijovic as well. How have you found working with them so far? It seems like there's already a bit of a combination to strike up.
Yeah, it's great. It's probably the first time I've been here where you can look around and there's, real competition for places in every position. And, Wenzel Hall, he's a real energetic young fella. He's got a big mouth, but he's always ratting about the training field and he's eager to learn and he's got plenty of energy. And then Alex has kind of got that physical presence. So I think moving forward, those two, could spark a little combination, whether one plays, two plays, or, I think they're both very competitive and, it's a good mix to have. You can go for the smaller, quicker player or also you can go direct into Prijovic. So it's great to have those options. And obviously you still got myself, Paney, Dylan Perez there, who've got a lot of speed down the wing. So, with these strikers in here, you just have to get the ball in the box and, hopefully they can find their boots and we can start scoring some goals.
Well, you said Dylan's a bit of a chatterbox, a big mouth, but Ben Gariccio gave you a bit of a rap on last week's show. He said you could talk underwater.
Yeah, I've got the quote
Direct
here,
quote
so
here.
I'm going to take over. He said Lachie Wales can talk underwater. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a fullback on the pitch who hasn't had a full-blown conversation with him. What do you say to that kind of allegation? Because that is a pretty significant throwing under the bus there.
It's funny because everyone hates it at one point, but obviously, some mornings everyone's a bit drowsy and I've always got a bit of energy to pick them up. So it's a love-hate relationship with some of the boys with me. I'm too much for them at times, but, if you take a seat next to me in the bus on an away trip, I'll chat your ear off. So
is that something that people avoid doing? Do they sort of steer away like? It's
interesting. They do come. It's funny. They all complain about it, but they do sit there. So. It's all in good fun and good banter, and Ben he's still learning the ropes. He's wearing Gucci and still in his Melbourne City attire, so he'll learn pretty quick that doesn't sit well at the club.
That's got to be a fine, surely.
Yeah, it does. I'm onto him as well. The Air Jordans, he's got about 7 pairs of them.
No wonder he was offering Hearts jerseys to you last week. Like,
he's got more clothes than he knows what to do with.
All right, so you're energetic in the early morning starts. That's been established. Is that something that comes from your surfing days, hitting the beach at crack of dawn?
Yeah, I think I'm a morning person. I like to get to bed early and just make the most of the day. And I have a little mate there that you probably know called Ryan Scott who loves to get around it as well. So the boys love it. We try and create a bit of an energy in the change room and. We're light-hearted and the boys are always getting a good laugh out of us. So it's just something small to get around the fellas and, sometimes we get on some people's nerves, but it's all in good fun.
Well, I mean, you and Ryan Scott seem like kindred spirits in a way because you've both had to fight for your places in this league. I mean, back on the coast where you were a scholarship player getting paid peanuts, I mean, that mustn't have been easy to balance that.
Yeah, it was a really tough period there. I was studying PE teaching as well up at Newcastle University. So I was also training full-time at the Mariners and, I was on $80 a week. So it was difficult to, drive up to uni after training and then, sometimes have to go back at night and train with the U team and things like that. So massive credit to my old man. He always, helped me out with petrol or things like this. And, I never stopped believing in my dream and, once I got that opportunity, I kind of ran with it at the Mariners there and I moved on to Melbourne City and, had an awesome experience there. And then I think I found somewhere here where I'm really feeling comfortable and, my performances are starting to go up and starting to score a few more goals. So I think I found a place where I'm really comfortable and I can push myself here at the moment. And, I'm just really enjoying football.
Well, Tony's come through in the comments saying Lachie has improved out of sight since joining Western United. I mean, it must be nice to be able to just focus on football and not have those distractions and the sort of energy drain from having all those extra commitments.
Yeah, it is definitely, and it's you don't. it sounds funny, but you don't go out there on purpose to have a bad performance or, miss chances or anything like that. It's, when you're young, I'm energetic and, sometimes the game was almost going too fast for me, and probably in the last, 6 to 8 months, the game's slowed down a bit for me, and, I'm a very explosive player, but it's kind of seeing things a lot clearer on the pitch now, and as I said, just enjoying football, as you said, without distractions, and, settled with my life outside of football here with my partner. She's been a massive support since she moved down, and it's just awesome when everything seems to be going good. Your football seems to be a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, I certainly think Tony wouldn't be alone in thinking that you've, improved since you've been given this extra lease of life in the green and black. What are do you have any personal ambitions to further that development? As you said, you're still a young player. Is there any expectations you set for yourself as an individual for this season, or do you just want to keep on enjoying it and keep the game nice and slow?
Yeah, I think something for me is always good to, set some goals, whether it's short term or long term. So, last year my personal goal was to go to the Olympics, and to do that was an awesome experience. So now, I'd love to win something in the A-League or an FFA Cup. I got very close at City, losing 2 grand finals there, one in the Cup and one in the A-League. So I think we've got a really good squad here, and I think why not that we can go for it this year and, shock a few teams along the way. And, personally, it's that end product, that last 20 metres of the pitch for me, which is where you earn your money. So, just trying to improve that is my main goal. It's, the hardest things to get goals and assists. So every day up doing some extras after training, or, having a shooting comp with Wendell Halls and Dill and some of the young boys. It's just little things like that keep challenging you as a player.
Well, you talk about the game slowing down for you and wanting to get more goals and assists. I mean, there's a connection there, surely, with, you're playing the final third and just taking that extra microsecond to set yourself before you shoot or cross. I mean, when you're a player as fast as you are and you do operate at 1,000,000 miles an hour a lot of the time when you're trying to beat defenders, is that the hard part, that kind of composure?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think, slowing down almost, I'm so quick and, always wanting to be energetic on the ball or provide a good action for the team. Sometimes it's just, once you beat that player, taking a deep breath and getting your head up a bit more and finding the options. It's easier said than done. And I think, for the first time in my career, I've probably watched a lot more football than I've usually watched. I'm studying a lot of players like Mohamed Salah and, Mane from Liverpool, and watching their decision-making in that final third, and, just seeing how quick they are, but also how composed they are in that final bit and pitch of the area. So, I haven't got it there quite yet, but it's something that I'm trying to get better at and trying to work on each day.
I mean, one thing I'm sure helps with all of that as well is the environment. So something that really every player we've had on so far in the green room has mentioned is the atmosphere and the environment in training and around the club. I mean, as you've already mentioned 3 players, yourself, Dylan and Ryan Scott, who could all be listed as, biggest chatterbox in the club. Clearly there's a good vibe. It must help you guys, not just push yourself personally in the season, but just the whole team to get forward.
Yeah, it's just a complete different environment this year, and it's honestly so enjoyable to turn up every day. We've got a really good mix of experienced players and also a lot of young players as well. So I think everyone's kind of just bouncing off each other at the moment, and everyone's really enjoying it. And it's up. The coaching staff have provided this for us, and it's been a massive change. And the standards are very high at the club now, so there's no shortcuts, and everyone knows the rules and what we're working towards. So it's been a massive improvement, and probably an eye opener for some boys who haven't trained in that environment before.
But I know also that one thing, at least away from football, that's important to this squad as well is your sense of fashion. I mean, you mentioned Ben Garuccios before. We've already talked about the shirt you've got on. It seems like something you guys hold quite a lot of emphasis on is looking sharp around the training pitch.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously the boys have a bit different fashion. You got Jerry Skidardis, who's from a Greek background, and he dresses like an Aussie as well. So it's rubbing off on everyone at the moment, and it'd just be nice to see Wenzel Halls get out of the New Balance kit and just get something different on. He's always got New Balance on, and the boys are getting a bit sick of it now. So it'd be good if he could chuck on some good kit.
Laying down the gauntlet there. Lachie, I wanted to delve into a comment you made about watching Salah and Mane and studying the game a bit more. I mean, as fans, we kind of assume that all players are kind of football obsessives like we are, but that's not the case a lot of the time. I mean, a lot of them are more athletes, and you just mentioned playing a lot of different sports and going to the beach and so forth when you were growing up. So take us through that journey of you starting to watch a bit more football outside of, your work, and where that's come from. Is that something you've taken initiative on yourself, or is that something from the coaching staff?
It's something that's probably I've worked on in the last eight months. I'm a massive rugby league fan, so I love watching NRL, or I don't even mind watching AFL. But I always liked watching soccer, but I never would watch the analyst side of it, or Gary Neville speaking about players and things like this. And it's just something I've gone into over the last 6 to 8 months, and it's something that I've actually really enjoyed, just watching. They're the best players in the world, and to watch how good they are, it's actually unbelievable. And they make it look so easy, and that's why probably the A-League gets so much hate, is because they do make it look so easy. But it's a real difficult thing to do. So to watch them do it and just try and pick a little bit apart is just something that's really interested me lately, and it's something I'll continue to do.
And you mentioned the analysis as well. You've got stuck into the sort of tactical side of the game a bit more lately. Does that help you, not understand what your coach is asking you to do, but why?
Yeah, exactly. I've always been a very good listener to coaches, and I've always, even if I've liked or disliked a coach, I've always taken one or two things away that I've really liked about a coach. So I've always been involved in the tactics, and from a young age, I've, always liked the 4-3-3 style of play. And, obviously last year we played 5 at the back, which is something that I've never been a part of. So to learn that, and then now see, John implement a 4-3-3 here, it's really interesting. And, every coach has a different way of playing it, which, is why we love the game, is because, every game's different, and, every team tries to play a different way.
I noticed there were quite significant demands on you in a defensive sense last season. I think it was the first game of the season in Geelong, and you seemed to be changing positions with the ball and without it, and your role in the pressing was quite specific. So, that's a lot to think about when you're already, pretty tired and running around.
Yeah, it's something in my game, that a lot of coaches like, is I can repeat action a lot more than other players. So defensively, I am a bit of a workhorse, if you want to say that. I get through a lot of work, and last year I was defending on the right-hand side and then playing as a second striker in attack. So it's not quite easy sometimes when you've run probably 60 metres back, and then you're in that final bit of the area, and you just almost feel like you've got nothing left in the legs. So I've done a lot more gym work this off-season, I guess, with John coming in, and I feel a lot more powerful. So hopefully I can still have that power to beat a player in that last 20 metres of the box.
Well, you've got a role that's a little bit more streamlined, much more attacking work for you to focus on, and I'm sure that many of the fans watching will be hoping you can channel that in a Sadio Mane or Mo Salah, or a combination of both. It's up to you.
Hopefully.
Over the next week, obviously. 2 big games coming up for the club. We'll start off with the one in the league. You've got a team you're very familiar with in Melbourne City this Saturday. Last time you played them, you may well remember this, but it wasn't the worst day for you personally. Of course, you managed to get the goal, the assist for Best for the winner, and pretty sure you picked up the man of the match as well. I can only imagine, and you can tell me if I'm wrong somehow, but you'll be hoping for more of the same for yourself personally this time around.
Yeah, definitely. It was probably the highlight of the year last year. I think that performance, it's probably our best one. I think that's maybe the last time Melbourne City lost the game. So, yeah, we'll be looking to do that again, hopefully. They've been the benchmark for the last 3 years, the way they move the ball and, kind of that front three that looks pretty potent at the moment. So we played them twice in the preseason games, and the second preseason game we gave them a real good game, and I think they know they're in for a game on Saturday at Amy Park. They they know we're here to play, and we can definitely play better with the ball this season, and we'll be looking to work our way through them, and hopefully I can have a bit of a day out like I did last time.
And the goal you did score in that game to make it 1-1, it was a header. We don't always see a Lachie Wales header, but we did appreciate it. And I think maybe the best part about it, the most interesting part, is that to score that header, you jumped over the top of a certain Ben Garuccio. Have you had a chance to remind him about that since he's your teammate now, or have you been too busy talking about his fashion sense?
No, I have reminded him about that. He reckons he had no contact in that day, and he couldn't see me. So, yeah, there's been a bit of banter to and fro with Benny, but he's a real energetic player, Benny, down the left hand side, and you've seen in the first couple of games he's a workhorse, and he's defended really well. I think he kept the Economides pretty quiet, and last week he had another solid game. So I think, Benny will be looking to have a big game as well against his former club, and hopefully he can just keep putting in those performances because, he'll be a real asset to our team going forward.
Well, I'm not sure how he missed you last season with your haircut. What was that inspired by, sort of glam rock 80s frontman? Yeah,
I've had a few different hairstyles, to be honest, across the career so far. It's all a bit of fun once again. I've gone the blonde top. I've also, just let it grow out, which I'm kind of doing at the moment. I've got a bit of a top knot, I guess you can say, at the moment. So, for me, it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever works. But, hopefully I can score a goal in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, I might have to shave it all off.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because we were watching back the game, and there was a close up of you on the Paramount Plus cameras, and I'm like, is that Lachie Wales with the top knot? Like, I couldn't work out whether it was. Is that something you're doing just to sort of keep the hair out of the eyes, or is it a permanent feature?
Well, at the Olympics, I had a bit of a mullet going on, so
yes,
at the moment the back's a bit long, and the front's not quite as long as the back. So I'm just trying to get the front a bit out of the eyes at the moment, and I can only improve from here, guys. That's the key
Well,
message.
no, I was just genuinely curious because I was like, is he trying to, because my hair's a bit long at the moment as well. I was thinking, is he trying to keep it out of his eyes, or is he, trying to get on a slow process of emulating Alex Prijovic? I wasn't sure. I just wanted to get the inside word from you.
Yeah, I'm going for probably the Harry Kewell look, to be honest. When they played Uruguay, he had a good hairstyle, so that's the aim at the moment. There was a bet with Josh Risdon, but he couldn't hack it, so he shaved his the other week.
Well, you mentioned the Olympics before, and we haven't asked you about your national team representation. You did score a goal at the Olympics against Argentina in that famous win. Tell us what that felt like.
Yeah, it was such a good experience just to even, go over there, and the whole build up to it, and, training with the best players and kind of players that I've grown up playing with or against. So, to put on the jersey, the green and gold jersey, was awesome. And, that first night, something I'll probably never forget. And I don't think, every Australian football fan won't forget in a hurry. To beat a country like Argentina, it's probably, one of the best football memories I have of my life so far. And, to knock one in, it was awesome. It just kind of topped the day off, and just a memory I'll never forget. And, to show that you can mix it with, the best young players in the world. And, we're probably 10 minutes off a draw against Spain to go into the quarterfinals, and you never know what could have happened then. But, to play against Pedri and these players, it's an awesome experience, and it can only makes you more hungry to get back on a stage like that.
Well, Lachie, thank you so much for your time and for going into detail on your football upbringing and so forth. You must be looking forward to this weekend. Have you got a celebration in mind if you do find the back of the net again against your former club?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not big on celebrations. It kind of just comes to me as I go. So, it would be awesome if I can just put one in the back of the net for the boys. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I'll leave the celebrations to maybe Connor Payne. He's got a pretty good celebrations down pat.
I think maybe if you score, you might have Ryan Scott just chase after you and like tackle you down or something like that. Maybe you can just get him to help you out.
He'll be the first goalkeeper to get 5 yellows from celebrating on the pitch this season for sure.
Well, I mean, if you're modelling yourself after Mo Salah, we know his preferred celebration, and it's usually shirtless. So,
yeah, I don't have the chest. I don't have the chest for that, but yeah, my shirt will definitely be staying on.
I'm sure that's a great relief to you, Coach. Lachie, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll see what happens if you do find the back of the net. I'll be personally looking out for Ryan Scott now running down the touchline.
Nah, thanks, guys. I really appreciate the chat. It was awesome.
Lachie Wales joining us here on the Green Room on FNR, presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. Lachie, we'll go to a short break. On the other side, A-League legend Andrew Durante joins us from where? We're not sure.
We're going to find out.
We are more than engineers. We are more than project managers. We are more than surveyors. We are more than infrastructure specialists. We are more than planners. So, who are we? We are problem solvers, providing the highest quality service and results. We are a team of skilled professionals, focused on customer needs and outcomes. We are 23 years of industry experience, adhering to the highest safety standards. We are Melbourne, and we are right across Victoria. We are the Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions. Lanco Group. We are more than you realise, and we are ready to partner with you.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped the keeper!
Presented by Simonds, it's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio. And joining us now in the Green Room, club legend, A-League legend, record appearance holder, Andrew Durante. Welcome to the Green Room. Tell us, first of all, mate, where are you? Because we understand you've been on a bit of a road trip lately.
Yeah, I've made my way around. I'm in Broome at the moment, so the top of WA. So enjoying some pretty hot weather at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Melbourne, I have to say.
No,
It
it's
looks like
definitely
you've
not
got
like
a Zoom, virtual background on, but no, he's really in paradise. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, we were sort of throwing names up on a dartboard to work out where you might be because we knew you were traveling around Australia, which we were just throwing out guesses. But you have been at least, again, like I said to one of our previous guests, Alex Previch, Josh, he does the serious Wikipedia transfer market searching. Me, I go through the Instagram, so I know you've been lots of different places. How has the experience been? It's looked like an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's been incredible. We took off basically when the season finished. We got out of Melbourne at the right time, and then we headed to Sydney to see family for a little while, and then COVID started catching up to Sydney, so then we bailed out of there and just kept heading north. So we did the East Coast and avoided lockdowns and crossed borders, which is a rarity these days. So, went across the East Coast through the middle of the country and then up to the top of Northern Territory. And now I'm over across in the Western Australia in Broome.
Wow, what a journey! I mean, you certainly had the right idea. I think the rest of us could learn a thing or two from your approach. You had to keep yourself in perfect condition for so long. Your longevity was unrivaled amongst A-League players. What is it like now? Have you let loose a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely haven't packed on kilos. I don't think that's in my body type.
Just to be clear, I don't think that's what Josh was suggesting. We don't want to get ourselves in hot water.
I'm not looking chubby, am I? But,
No.
No, but I've enjoyed not having to, exert myself every day. I actually thought that I'd get up and run a bit more, but I've actually done nothing since I've stopped. I've just enjoyed doing nothing, eating whatever I want. I've had a lot more beers than I would ever during my playing days. So, look, I've just made the most of it. I'm pretty active with the kids every day anyway, with hiking, or we go for bike rides and swimming. So, it's been great. It's been great not having to go through the grind every day.
Yeah, I bet. And is your family loving having you around, or are they getting a bit sick of you now?
I think they're pretty sick of me by now, but that's it's bad luck. We're all stuck in a van together, so they got to deal with it.
Yeah, how has that van life been going? Because have you been taking the caravan with you everywhere you've gone? Has that been your it doesn't look like you're in a caravan right now, so maybe this is a brief departure. But how has that caravan life been going? You've got a pretty large family, so it must be quite a tired experience.
Yeah, look, it definitely takes adjusting. I'd never caravanned before, and it was my first time doing it. And 3 young girls in tight confines can be testing at times. There's no doubt about it. But, to be able to pick up and leave and go to a next destination whenever you want and see something amazing, and then, you're sick of it, and then you move to the next spot, just having that freedom of being able to change your scenery. You open up the door every day and you're looking at something different is just incredible. The kids are loving it. The positives way outdo the negative situations that you'd come across. So I'm in a caravan park at the moment. I'm just in the front office here using their Wi-Fi. But we're basically right on the beach here in Broome at Cable Beach, and it's been amazing. I'd love it, and I wish I could do it forever, but you can't do it. But it's been great.
See, now I feel bad because here I was accusing you of ditching the caravan life and booking out a 5-star suite. But no, you are still true to form, which is good. But as we said, you've been to so many different places in this journey around, and eventually you will come back around, hopefully towards Melbourne. But what has been? I know there's many to choose from, but what's been the best experience for you so far?
Yeah, there's been so many awesome experiences for different reasons, but I'd have to say down at Uluru, Ayers Rock, we got our bikes and rode around Ayers Rock. That was pretty awesome. That was a real special place. It's hard to describe, but there's something really special about the place when you get there. And we actually did ditch the caravan for 5 days, and we hired a boat and sailed the Whitsunday. So that was
there are worse things to do.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. I'd probably say that's probably the biggest highlight. It was just the most amazing 5 days. Just snorkeling and fishing and just sailing around. It was amazing.
Well, this is a football show, not an episode of Getaway, so we better talk football at some point. Tell us about your 356 A-League game career. Have I got that number right?
I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I think it's about right. Look, it was long. It was a long career. It was a great career. I loved it. It's been one of, I won a championship in the old NSL. I won a championship in the A-League with Newcastle Jets, and, got around, played international football, and, I look really fondly back on my career. I think it was, amazing. I was definitely not the greatest player or the best player to ever play it, but, I was a battler and I worked hard, and, I think that's what got me through and gave me that longevity that, I was a real fighter and just, I loved winning games. So that's kind of how I kind of played the game.
And what did you bring to Western United when you started in terms of your experience as an inaugural player in a new team, in a new club? What was that like? And how did you set about trying to establish that kind of culture?
Yeah, look, when I first spoke to Lou Sticker, who was one of the guys who first set up the club, he was just telling me about the ambition of the football club, the stadium that they were building, how they wanted to build a fantastic team from the get-go, and they were willing to spend on marquees. And, it really excited me. It was a blank piece of paper, and I thought, I can go there and help create a culture, help create values, and really set the groundwork up for a football club in Melbourne. And yeah, I think I did that in that first season. I feel I contributed really well in that first season, especially, we had a lot of new players, a lot of big profile players as well to try and manage and navigate through. So, yeah, look, it was a big challenge. Love it. I'd have zero regrets on coming to Western United and helping set that up. I loved my time there. And look, I think, I was just on the actual internet before, and I saw they've turned soil, and so there's really big moment happening at the football club, and I think it's going to grow into a really big club.
Well, you mentioned before that it was your A-League career was something that you look back on fondly. I think the overwhelming thing is that a lot of people, and I'm talking fans of Western United and previous clubs you've played for, look back fondly on your career in the A-League as well. Like, in a short space of time, I think you made yourself into a really cherished player and character for a lot of Western United fans. And, of course, everyone knows your exploits with Wellington before that. Is it a weird feeling for you to be basically a club legend at more than one club?
Look, I guess that's a tagline that people will add. It's not something that I would add to myself. But obviously in Wellington, it was a long time, 11 years there as the captain. Of course, I've got a legacy there and some incredibly great moments. I won a championship at Jets, and a Joe Marsden medal with them. And then Western United was just another, I guess, path for me to kind of prove myself and test myself. I love to constantly test myself and see if I can make an impact in other environments and how I would fare in other environments. So, it's every team has different challenges and every club has different challenges. And, you just got to figure out ways of adapting and connecting with people. And that's something that I enjoy doing. So it was easy for me.
I want to take you back to the group in that first season, and it was sort of the wise old heads of the A-League, that lineup. It was a very savvy, experienced team, lots of big personalities in there, Berisha, McDonald, Erşan Gulam, Panayotis Kone, of course, Diamante still there and goes without saying. What was that group of players like to work with and play with?
Oh, I loved it. When they started signing these players, I was like, mate, this is the club I want to be at. They want to win it. They don't want to wait 2, 3, 4 years to try and win it with a young group of kids. They want to try and win it now. To sign someone like Diamante and Panayotis Kone, that was a massive statement. That was a huge statement to say, look, we're here to win it. We want to win it, and that's our ambition. So that really got me fired up. Getting Erşan Gulam back, Scott McDonald, Besart Berisha, Josh Risdon, that's a massive lineup of players and experienced players. And, we started off incredibly well, in that first season. And then we kind of had a dip. Some players left for whatever reason. And we went through a bit of a lull, but then we finished strong again and was one game short of the grand final. So, look, there was, I think people say, all these big personalities, surely there's a big clash in that, but we were all just good pros that just wanted the best for the team. And, no one thought they were above anyone else. If there was an issue, we'd all get together and try and iron it out. So there was definitely no big ego thing there. We all worked really well together.
And I think the defining performance of those early days with that group of players is probably the comeback at Marvel Stadium against Melbourne Victory, 2-0 down. Most sides would lose their heads at that point, going 2-0 down in such dramatic early circumstances. But he just level-headed, played your football, kept playing out from the back. And, I mean, that was honestly a stunning comeback. Must have been amazing to be a part of it.
Oh, definitely one of the highlight games. And I guess probably the game that really put us on the map to say, hey, we are here. We're not just pretenders here. We want to actually try and do something to knock Victory off at home. Coming back from behind, like you said, it was It was huge. I remember clearly when the first goal went in and then the second goal went in, and I just looked around and everyone's just saying, relax, it's fine, don't worry, keep playing. And when you hear that and when you're saying that to other people, everyone just goes, all right, actually, we might be all right. And then I think it was Diamante scored the first goal. And then once that went in, I was like, right, we're going to get back in this. And yeah, one of the games for the ages that was a cracking game.
Yeah, and that season, the 2019-20 season, obviously the first for the club, but you were still, I think you started 26 games that season. So you were still a super, not even a super regular starter. You were a constant starter. It was an impressive thing to do for someone, coming towards the end of their career. And I think that's probably the most impressive thing about your career, is not just the longevity, but the consistency. I think you would have played most of your years in the A-League would have been 20-plus games a season. I mean, what's for other players who are getting towards their mid to late 30s and thinking, oh, I don't know how many years of this thing I've got yet. Well, what is your secret to this incredible longevity? Because a lot of older players, as they get towards the end, the amount of games they play start to taper off. But that was not the case for you at all.
Yeah, I actually think I probably played my best football under Mark Rudin at Wellington at 36, and then Western United 37 and 38. I'd have to say I've got to give credit to Mark. He kind of stripped all the players back. He got everyone, so lean and so fit. But yeah, I don't know. Over the years, when I first started my career, I had really bad injuries. I broke my leg when I was 21, missed the Athens Olympics, got back 18 months later, broke my leg again, went playing for Newcastle Jets in a preseason game. So I guess the football gods looked after me. They punished me at the beginning for whatever reason, and then looked after me at the end, because after that I was basically consistent every season. I understood my body really well. I knew what I could do and what I couldn't do, and how hard to push myself and when to taper off. Sports science now, I think every player should be easily playing over 35, 36, no question about it, with the technology that they have, the ice baths, the recovery systems, the technology is there for you to play as long as you want if you look after yourself. So yeah, and I never wanted to give my spot up. I wanted to play every week. There were times that I remember I got food poisoning the day before a game. I was in hospital on a drip, and they're like, oh, we'll see you next week. I said, no, I'm playing. I'm coming tomorrow and I'm playing. I said, I'll hydrate myself. I'm good to go. And I just didn't want to give my spot up to anyone. I just wanted to play every game, because I knew it was a privilege to be on that park and to represent whatever team I played for.
That season was interrupted, of course, the COVID lockdown, then the bubble, and it seemed as if some teams struggled in that environment, but Western United seemed to improve. You mentioned how a mid-season dip before that, and then really the football that you played towards the end of the campaign into the final series was some of your best. What was it about that bubble environment that maybe brought the team closer together?
I'll tell you the secret to that bubble. It was so Victoria was in a full lockdown. We couldn't leave our home for anything. We were kind of trapped. All the other states were actually, could move around. They could go to cafes still. They could do what they wanted. And then all of a sudden the bubble hit, and we're all in a bubble together. And we were staying at Coogee. So every day we'd wake up, we're at Coogee Beach. We'd open up the blinds. We're like, this is incredible. We could go for a swim at the beach if we wanted. We're like, this is unbelievable. We're in freedom. This is heaven. And all the other teams that had been in luxury were out at Parramatta, staying looking out at a car park every day. And I honestly believe that mindset where the club put us was the catalyst for us having such a good run in those last 6 games in the final series, because you saw the top teams, they were falling away, and we were rising in those games. And I'm telling you, the camaraderie we had in that Coogee Beach hotel, and that was unreal. And the club did everything they could to make us feel at home, and we had snooker tables and table tennis tables, and we felt relaxed and fired up, and I think the other teams went the opposite way.
So you're a big believer in the sort of off the pitch socialising, improving on-field performances, and that mentality and the positivity?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, I was speaking to Steve Taylor at Wellington, and he's like, let's finish this season. I want to get out of here. I'm looking at a car park in Parramatta. I'm like, man, I'm opening up the blinds every day. I've got Coogee Beach looking out. I'm going for a swim. And honestly, we're just getting in the minds of all the other players. They were just hating it. And yeah, definitely. If you're happy outside of football and everything's going well in your life outside, it definitely plays a part in playing well on the field.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking back to that time. You sparked a memory. I can still remember clearly in my mind all the joyous Instagram stories from Alessandro Diamanti at that time, just poolside, him having a great time. It was clear that you weren't the only one enjoying that atmosphere at that time.
No, we were loving it. Like I said, we were in such a bad way in Victoria. We hadn't been out of our houses. So to actually have a little bit of freedom was just incredible. So yeah, like I said, it definitely played a part in that run.
I'm just thinking back to the memories of that crazy time, and I remember there was a attempted airport run that didn't quite go to plan before a border closed.
There was three of them. We tried to get out. Greg O'Rourke tried to get us on a flight 3 times to get us out of there. We'd be waiting at the airport. We were just waiting to get on our flight, and then all of a sudden, boys, you got to go home. So everyone just had to go home again. And we tried 3 times to get out, and we eventually got there. And Greg O'Rourke wasn't a popular man when we saw him in the hotels.
Well, we were basically following that through Deer's Instagram, and I remember he was still bubbly, still making jokes, still laughing, saying things in Italian I didn't understand, and then the camera at one point cuts to Bez, just icy daggers, like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, look, Deer's the perfect person to have in a situation like that. He's always joking and laughing, and his catchphrase "boy boy" of just being positive all the time. So he was a perfect leader at that time to keep the mood pretty happy.
Well, Andrew, I think it's clear that in your in the grand scheme of your career, short space of time that you did spend at Western United, you've made a lot of good memories, a lot of happy memories, and I get the sense that perhaps that's feeding into a potential role for you at the club when you make your way back from your journey around the outside of Australia.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, to come home. I don't know when that is, but when I'm ready to come home, I want to be a part of the club. I didn't come just to play a couple seasons and then take off. I want to help build the football club. I really believe in what they're doing. Where I'll fit in is still something that I kind of am tossing up a bit, because I kind of love every aspect of the game. I love the coaching side. I love the operational side, the corporate side of it as well. But, I've had a bit of time to think while I have been on the road, and, I'd love to give back to the youth system and help develop some of the younger players. I see all these kids with so much talent and so much skill that I didn't have, but, no one really works on the mental side of it enough. I don't think, there's enough time spent on grafting, and if you want to make it, you've got to be fit, you've got to deal with setbacks, you've got to deal with coaches not liking you, and how do you overcome that? So that part of the game is something that I'm pretty passionate about. So if I can incorporate that in my time at Western United, I'd be pretty happy with that. Well,
listening to you there, I'm reminded of what you were saying earlier about when you first joined the club, the vision that you discussed with Lou at the time, that long-term plan to really, in literal and in figurative terms, build something with Western United. It seems like that ambition and those goals are something that have stuck with you and that you want to see through.
Yeah, I definitely want to see through it. Like I said, I don't like to start things and just take off on them. It was a commitment that I made that I'd like to come back to Melbourne. I spoke to Chris, the CEO, on several occasions, and they're keen on having me back there and helping grow the football club. So they've also given me their blessing to continue travelling, which has been lovely. And look, it's been really good for my transition. There's something that's not spoken enough about is the transition in retirement, and it's difficult. It's difficult for anyone. It doesn't matter if you've made millions or you've made a small amount of money. The transition after football is difficult. But this trip around Oz and spending time with my family and has really taken my mind off that and really helped me ground myself and refocus. So this is probably the best thing that I've ever done, and my family are loving it and I'm loving it. So it's been a great thing for me in this transitional phase.
Well, I was going to ask you about the current set of players, the current team, and how they're shaping up. I'm not sure if you've watched a single minute of that, if you've been on a well-deserved break, but Leo Lacroix and Tomoki Amai as a central defensive partnership have certainly been turning some heads so far this season, and as a former centre-back yourself, that must be pleasing to see.
Yeah, Leo's a great signing. I think he's a massive human. He stands so tall at the back there, and he's got beautiful feet. He's a strong leader, and from what I'm hearing from all the players, a great guy. And his first 2 games have been really good. He's been really solid. So I think it's been a fantastic signing for the club. Tamoki is Tamoki. He's always consistent, and he's been playing really well. Topper Stanley is riding their tails big time as well. You've got a guy that could easily be starting in that team. So, that's really healthy, to keep them on their toes. If you don't play well, then there's someone ready to step in and do really well. So Topper, will be waiting for his chance. But yeah, I think it's a strong squad. If I actually look at the squad on paper, I'd probably say it's one of the strongest squads over the 3 years. I think there's a really good balance. I think Kilkenny's a great signing. The new striker comes with a great pedigree. You've got Wenzel Hawes, who's chipped in with his first goal on the weekend. So from speaking to the players and everyone around the club, it's super positive. There's good energy around there, and they're feeling like there could be something special this year.
Well, I mean, it is only 2 games into the season, but from both our opinions and many others across who have watched Western United play, it does seem like that central defence is going to be a real asset to the team over the course of the season. If and when you do return, are you going to have to resist the sort of subconscious urge at training to jump back into those defensive training drills and get in amongst that solid defence?
No, I probably will. I probably want to get straight into it. Probably rip my hammy or do something stupid. I haven't been injured my whole career, and then I'll probably get injured when I jump in a training session with as a coach or something. But no, look, I'm pretty passionate about, helping the younger generation even as a defensive coach. I look at some of the games in the A-League and some of the mistakes that are being made, and, I think there's such easy things to fix, but it just takes repetition and time to focus on them. But look, I think John Ellis is doing a great job at the moment. Sorry, that was a fly. John Ellis is doing a great job at the moment, and Hayden Fox as well. Like, all the players are speaking so highly of Fox's contribution to the club, and yeah, I'm really excited about the season. And like you said, it's only early days, but it's some good signs.
Well, plenty to be excited about. This Saturday, 7:45 p.m, Amy Park against Melbourne City. It is an away match, that one, but coming up against the best the competition has to offer is sure to be a stern test, so should be a good one to watch on prime time Saturday night.
Yeah, look, they look the favourites again. To be honest, they're a super team. They got pipped over in Adelaide, but Adelaide's a tough place to go anyway. But yeah, I'd say Melbourne City are definitely the front runners again to take it out potentially.
And then coming up on Tuesday, the 7th of December, FFA Cup tie against Wellington Phoenix, your former side at GMHBA. I mean, it must be tough for Wellington again this year to be playing away from home and living in another country.
Yeah, mate, no doubt about it. What they did last year and how they had to kind of finish the season in that bubble and being away from family so long, and then base themselves in Wollongong, and credit to them, credit to everyone, because they're desperate to stay in the league. They want to be a part of it. And they deserve to be there. And the long-term future of Wellington is there now. And to again go and be based themselves in Sydney is so difficult. I put myself in their shoes of, having to leave family members potentially, your wife and kids to stay over in Wellington at school, and you've got to come over. So it's definitely not easy, but man, they're playing super football. They got a very, I'm going to say this in the nicest possible way, average team on paper, but Tale's got them playing some really good football as well.
Yeah, definitely well drilled. Well, speaking of getting back to family, we'll let you get back to yours, Andrew Durante. Go back to your tropical paradise and enjoy the rest of your holiday, and we'll welcome you back with open arms when you come back to the west of Melbourne.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely brilliant. And we'll bring the show to an end on that note as well. This has been The Green Room on FNR, presented by Simonds Homes. Make sure you get your tickets for 7:45 p.m, Amy Park on Saturday, as Western United take on the champions, Melbourne City. Big test coming up, Lachie.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's a big week, 2 games. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can end up with next Wednesday.
All right, we better go. See you next week.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United!
Presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.